Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video of my latest Amazon purchase. This is the 30 megapixel 4K trail camera from the company My Animal Command. Okay, so I finally got the plastic taken off. Let's take a look at everything it comes with. Now this isn't my first trail camera that I've used by My Animal Command. They make a 16 megapixel and a 12 megapixel camera, and I've used those both in the past. The best thing about these cameras is that they run on a solar panel that they send you when you buy the camera solar panel combo. Let's take a look at the solar panel first. Has two threaded ends, one on the back and one on the bottom for you to mount it. The camera will run totally on the solar panel. You don't have to use AA batteries with the camera. Unless you want to, you can totally run it just on the solar panel. Power button down here to show you how well it's charged. You can also change the voltage if you needed to. You can run it on 5, 6, 9, or 12 volts. For the My Animal Command trail cameras, you would just run it on 6 volt, but you can actually use this solar panel with other trail cameras that are on the market. You get a metal mounting bracket. You get a standard USB cable to plug in and charge the solar panel for the first time. You want to get it fully charged, and then once you put it out in the field, the sunlight should hopefully keep it going for you. They give you two different cables here. One of these is going to be to connect the solar panel to the My Animal Command camera, but then they give you another one in the event that you're wanting to use it with a different camera on the market and it needs a different end for the for the digital camera. So that's a quick look at the solar panel. Now let's look at the box and the trail camera. So I mentioned that this company makes a 16 and 12 megapixel. This is the 16 megapixel camera. Maybe we'll take a look at it versus this one. The main difference is this is going to be a 30 megapixel and it does 4K Ultra HD video. The other thing is the IR wavelength in this camera is going to be 850 nanometers versus 940. So it's going to have better night vision, night images and video than the other trail cameras on the market. Quick operating instruction guide, a user manual. The other big difference between the 16 megapixel and this new 30 megapixel is because it's 4K, you can use up to a 256 gigabyte SD card in the camera. With the 12 and the 16 megapixel, you can only use up to a 32 gig. With this one, up to 256 gigabytes. So they give you a cord to connect the camera to your computer so you can retrieve images or do firmware updates. A cloth strap to run through the back of the camera for mounting, and then they give you an additional metal mounting bracket if you want to mount it with a metal mounting bracket. Let's take a look at the camera. So compared to the prior model, about the same size. You'll notice one main difference is the prior model had a PIR sensor here in the middle. This one actually gives you two different options. You can do 60 or 120 degrees of PIR motion detection. If you wanted to put AA batteries in the camera, you'll put them here on the right side. Again, you don't need to. You can run this camera totally with the solar panel that it comes with. Takes a standard size SD card, again up to 256 gigabytes. And then the solar panel connects on the bottom here on the back side of the camera. This would be the threaded port in the event that you're wanting to use the metal mounting bracket. If you want to use the cloth strap, you would just run it through the back of the camera. So that's a quick unboxing video. I hope it helps. So I thought it might be beneficial to walk you through how easy it is to set up this camera. As I mentioned before, my favorite feature of the camera is that I have no batteries in it. I have it hooked up to the solar panel that they provide you with, and you can run the camera completely on the solar panel with no batteries at all. So all we're going to do, there's a switch down here at the bottom that shows setup, on, or off. When you want to set up your camera, you're just going to move it to the middle setup section, and then you're just going to press the menu button, and this is where we would get into all of the different menu configuration options. You'll notice at the top there's 4 different options. There's kind of your general settings, then your camera setting, your video setting, and then your standard settings on your camera. And then you can just go through any of these. Notice on the camera, it's got nice buttons that you can touch, no touchscreen, nothing that's hard to see. Everything's visible and easy to know where it is. It's beneficial for me, especially if you're a hunter, when you're outside in the dark trying to set up these cameras. It's nice to be able to touch something. And then all you're going to do is you're going to go through the settings. I'm not going to go through every one of these, but for example, your mode, do you want it to take pictures, just video, or pictures and video? You can adjust your PIR interval. So once it's been triggered, how long does it take before it gets triggered again? What I like about this camera is you can choose as specific of a time as you want to. Some cameras make you choose 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. If I want to do 36 seconds, I can do it. Your PIR sensitivity you can adjust. Your time lapse, if you're wanting to track something being built or something like that, maybe you're not worried about motion, but you're worried about tracking a picture at a certain time every day. That's what time lapse would be. Your infrared LEDs, your monitoring period. So maybe you only want the camera to work during the daytime, or maybe you only want it to work at nighttime. That's what monitoring period would be. As I mentioned before, you've got the side PIR sensitivity. You can turn that on or off depending on if you're wanting 60 or 120 degrees of monitoring. If you go to your photo settings, as we mentioned, 2 megapixel is the lowest, 30 megapixel is the highest. You've got some different options in between those two. How many pictures does it take when it's triggered? You can set it on 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. You can even adjust your shutter speed on this camera. So depending on how fast you want it to take the picture, you can adjust that. Your video resolution, as we mentioned, this is a 4K camera. I should mention that if you're looking to do 4K video, there's a chance you might have to update your codecs or your video player on your computer. A lot of newer computers are compatible for 4K, but some of the older ones aren't, so you might have to do some updates to adjust it to be able to play 4K. If you didn't want to do 4K, you can go all the way down to 360p or anything in between there, for example, 720 or 1080p. As I mentioned before, video length is the same way. You can be as specific as you want. You want 18 seconds, you can do that. Record audio. Do you want audio in your video files, or do you want it to be silent? You can adjust that as well. And then last but not least, you've got your default settings. So your language, format your SD card, change your date and time, some of your basic things. You've also got a replay button down here, so if you're out in the field and you want to look at the images or videos or make sure you've got it set correctly, you can view them on the screen by pressing replay, and you can also take a manual shot by pressing the shot button. Once you've got it set up the way you want, all you're going to do is move the switch from setup to on, and your camera is on and operational. I hope this makes sense. Thanks for watching the video.